right, good morning at home, people. Two warm-ups this morning. Both of them are test inspired, but neither of them are represented on the review. So again, the review is posted in Schoology, answers are posted in Schoology, and those are great studies for the test. But they don't have questions quite like the two we're going to do for a warm-up. So press pause, give that one a go, give this one a go, and there's another one coming after it. So try this one. Round solve means find everything. Round to the 10th lets you know that one decimal place is all we're looking for on these. So give that a go, and we'll press pause, give it a try, and then come back. By the way, people in person and at home, you're going to have to find an angle. Well, you're not going to find an angle first. You can find the missing side, the hypotenuse first. That's probably the easiest. But then you're going to have to use an inverse trig function to find an angle. Right? If you're looking for an angle, you've got to use an inverse. So there's a hint. Now press pause and then come back and see how it looks. So most folks are going to find the hypotenuse. And by the way, I remember the sides are always across from, for labeling purposes, sides and angles are across from each other. So side B is across from angle B, side C is across from angle C, side A is across from angle A. That's always the case. Now, most of you found the hypotenuse first, which is perfectly reasonable. 6 squared plus 9 squared is 117. So B is the square root of 117. Some of you figured out that that was 3 square root of 13, which is fine, except that it says round to the 10th. So 3 square root of 13 would be an exact answer. And then if we actually multiply that out, the estimate answer is 10.8. That's the rounded answer. So I probably would accept an exact answer even if it said rounded to the 10th because it's a more accurate answer. But the reverse would not be true. If it asked for an exact answer, you couldn't say 10.8 because that's not exact. In fact, there's no numbers you could round it to because that's not an exact answer. The exact answer is 3 squared root of 13. So I think the test usually asks for rounded answers. That way, if you give the exact, that's fine. But if you want to round it, that's fine too. All right, so there's our missing side. And then we need to figure out which angle we want to talk about. It doesn't matter which one, but you just have to pick one. Somebody have a preference? First call gets to pick. Well, I'm going to do angle A then. So I'll say we're looking at angle A, because when we pick the angle, that sets who's opposite and who's adjacent. So if we had picked angle C to look at, opposite and adjacent would be switched. So be careful. This is also a place where if you're studying with friends and you pick different angles and then you're trying to compare notes, things might look backwards, but you might both be correct depending on which angle you picked. So I've got opposite and adjacent. That sounds like a tangent thing, although a few of you wrote out, I guess, to remind yourself. So katoa. And I'm looking for the angle. I guess since I have the hypotenuse, I could use any of them because we know everything. But 10.8 is rounded, and what if we made a mistake getting there? So I probably would like to use the original information. Probably be the safest way to go. So the tangent of angle A is opposite over adjacent. So angle A is the inverse tangent of opposite over adjacent. And I get 56.3 degrees. Again, you got to be in degrees to get that. But if you were in radians, you'd probably notice something funny about your answer, because 0.98 degrees doesn't seem like a very reasonable answer for this problem. So Not all the time, but some of the times if your degrees and radians is messed up, you'll catch it if you're paying attention. All right, so that was angle A. And then the only thing left is to do the 180 thing to get that missing angle. So 90 minus 56.3 is 33.7. And solve the triangle means find everything. So all three angles, all three sides, we're good. Any question on that one? Okay, warm up number 2, word problem. Mrs. Morris is 5.5 feet tall. And when I say that, we'll just say like that's where her eye level is, just because I didn't want to say her eyes are 5.5 feet above the ground, because that sounds funny, but that's what it needs to be for this problem to work. She stands 20 feet from Coach Saban as he hoists the national championship trophy. If the angle of elevation from her eyes to the top of the trophy is 10 degrees, how high is the trophy? Well, let's draw a little picture of what's going on here, minus the confetti and the questions about how did Miss Morris get within 20 feet of Coach Saban. So there's Miss Morris. She's 5.5 feet tall, or close enough to that anyway, for our purposes. She's 20 feet away. From Coach Saban. Whoops. He has 4 arms now. And he's holding up this national championship trophy thing. Oh, it's that circular whatever. There's the trophy that he's proudly holding up with his strangely long arms. The point of this problem is that we work a problem where we see the words angle of elevation. Angle of elevation. So from her eyes to the top of the trophy. So from her eyes to the top of the trophy. So angle of elevation is how far her eyes have to look up. It's that angle that she's looking through. So from the level, it's 10 degrees. From the horizontal, it's 10 degrees up to the top of the trophy.
Okay, then why does it matter if she's 5.5 feet tall?
Well, because for how high the trophy, you have to add the side and her height, right?
Yes. So the question we want is how high up in the air is the trophy? But we're going to have to add, so this is like a 2-step problem, because what the triangle is going to help me find is, well, I just use H, I guess I'll use Y. I can find Y. Y would just be the distance from like her eye level up to the trophy. But then we would need to add the 5.5 to that. So use trig to find Y, SOHCAHTOA stuff. And then don't forget to add the 5.5 because her eyes are, she's not like laying on the ground looking at the trophy. She's already up in the air herself. So that's the setup to that problem. Again, use SOHCAHTOA to find Y, and then don't forget to add the 5.5 when you get to the end. I'm going to press pause for you guys at home. So pause it and give it a try, and then come back and see how you did. All right, so we really want to look at that yellow triangle because that'll tell us the difference from height between the sort of Miss Morris's eye level and the top of the trophy. That's what we're looking for first. We've got an angle of 10 degrees. Across from that, or opposite that, is this side, and the adjacent side is 20. There's also a hypotenuse, but we don't really care about the hypotenuse because that doesn't tell us anything. So if I'm thinking SOHCAHTOA, and I'm not interested in the hypotenuse at all, then SO and KA are gone, and I'll write tangent. So tangent of 10 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse, y over 20. A little bit of algebra. Y equals 20 tangent of 10. So calculator, 20 tangent 10, 3.526. I added rounded 2 decimals, so we'll just carry a few more than that until we get to our final answer. 3.5265. I've also got it in a calculator, so I don't really have to worry about it. But that's not my final answer. That's like how far above her vision the trophy is. So her eyes are at 5.5, so I need to add 5.5 to that to get how high up in the air this trophy is. So plus 5.5 is 9.03 feet.
How do you know that I did do the wrong thing? But I still got the right answer.
All right.
I did
Again, that's Test Inspired. So add that to the review and have that ready to maybe help you on the test tomorrow, since it is open note.
I did 17.